Welcome back to the channel. This is Roberto with Full Curl Precision again. Just kind of doing some little bit of talk and update on things while I do some bullet pulling. Move some stuff out of the way. So I got a chance to get in touch with the tooling company, and there were some errors on their end, and there were some errors on my end. So we're just gonna work it out. I don't need a whole bunch of stuff to correct the issue, but we're gonna get it working well. The plan is right now I'm just more focused on getting things running than I am worried about other factors. So I went back through, and as I tried even the resizing die compared to what I had specified, and I was reverse engineering some data on like the 6.8 Western, and resizing die was not cooperative with what I needed to do. It wasn't shrinking it down like enough. So, but that's partly my error, because then I took my calipers, having two sides of the calipers, right? Inside and outside. And so I took them, I turned them on, hit 0, and I took them and I spread it out, and my inside neck diameter was 2.701. Okay. And then I took the bullet diameter on the outside, the actual shank. You can see right in front of my finger, the shank. And when I measure that, I'm getting 0.2755. And I went through all my bullets. They're all 2.755. So, they have to be able to squeeze in and do different things. So that's what they are. So I've measured the bore. I measured the inside of the neck. You can see that. That's right. Here we go. I measured the inside of the neck. We measured the outside of the neck. Compared to whereas before, I was mostly just going on the data I could find as far as schematics. And so I'm referencing schematics, and I'm also doing now more reverse engineering. And now that I actually have some Fireform brass to be able to engineer off of, I can do a little bit more specifics. Is it a little bit of an offset? Yeah, I probably could have done a little bit better job. But you know what? Again, I've said it before, I'm not perfect. And, when you're trying something new, it's kind of a challenge. And that's okay. It's not a matter of whether or not it's a challenge. It's a matter of whether or not you're willing to put in the effort to make it worthwhile. And I am, because I am passionate about this. Am I going to make mistakes? Yes. But the thing is, I'm not going to give up because of it. It's not a catastrophic difference. It's like, oh no, what am I going to do? Keep pushing forward. I believe in the concept of what I'm doing. It has good merit. And then now that I actually had, let me pull that back out. Now that I actually had a brass to build off of and try, I could actually go through and develop a better game plan. So am I saying that I'm infallible? Absolutely not. No one is. But the thing is, I went through, and so the technician, the guy who's been helping me with putting stuff on computer, we were just on the phone for a while, and we went back through, and I just remeasured things. And so all I need now to be able to fix my issue is a new reamer, go no go gauges, and just a resizing die. I don't need the reloading die. That's fine. I just need the resizing die. So it's not as much as I need to think I can. And I was talking to the gunsmith. It's not hard. Literally, the difference is going to be, maybe it takes off like a 1/4 inch on the barrel off the end, and then it goes forward. Is it a loss? A little bit, but is it annoying? I can live with it. It's okay. I'm more concerned. It's not whether or not this is going to be the end all be all. It's a prototype. there's gonna be some experimentation and remanaging of things. So I'm gonna be able to figure this out, make it work, and I believe in this. I had one comment where the guy said, you're gonna be going up against the 7 PRC and the 6.8 Western. They have a lot of support, and there's gonna be a lot of differences. That you're gonna have it's gonna be a challenge, and that's true. But at the same time, the 280 Ackley Improved, as old as it is starting to make more and more sense to a lot of people. They're starting to see its benefits, and so it's starting to take a big foothold where the 7 PRC can't, because, and this is where also the 7 backcountry is starting to come into place. People want the extra shot capacity. People aren't so hung up on, a lot of the Western hunters who do the backcountry hunting want something that's going to be easier to pack around, as far as, lighter weight, moderate recoil. People aren't really wanting the big magnums anymore. You get some, like there's a lot of you guys, I communicate with, and you guys like playing with, your big magnums. There we go. And that's cool. But there's a lot of guys, out there that are just more interested in having something that's going to be moderate in comparison to something like a 7 Rem mag. So therefore the 280 Ackley, the 7 backcountry, something like that. And this kind of fits that bill. It's going to be right in there with the 6.8 Western, the 7 Rem mag, the 7 PRC, the 280 Ackley. The 7 backcountry is its own beast. No denying it. It's its own beast. But it doesn't mean that everybody wants 80,000 PSI. Some people just simply want to have 65,000. And, in talking with the gunsmith, his words, not mine, he said, what I'm working on is a badass cartridge. And out of the gun we're building, it reminds him, like recoil-wise and manageability, like a 243. So if you can have a cartridge that performs like a 280 Ackley, like and like a 6.8 Western, but the build keeps it moderate, where you can go backcountry, take your longer types of shots, 600, 700, 800 yards, and you can do it with authority, but it recoils like a 243. Again, his words, not mine. At some point, I'll be able to do a video over there. I did ask him if it's okay with him. I don't presume to do anything on someone's property without their permission, even though it is my rifle. That said, it felt good. It felt good that he appreciated the concept that I'm working on, and that's really where I'm going with it. Is if I can do that, and I can give you 6.8 Western, 7 PRC, 280 Ackley, 7 Rem mag type performance, but do so with less recoil and less cost, and similar cost to this guy, a standard 270, that's a win-win-win all the way across. I don't see where the loss is. And then the other thing, again, is when you're back doing your backcountry deal, that you're trying to be conscious of your shot capacity. So if you're trying to keep it down to just what the cartridges in your rifle, like your magazine and your chamber, the nice part about it is with the magazine setup that I have, like you can go into the post and check out the photo. That magazine is a single stack 5-shot, and so the whole gun can hold 6. That's kind of a nice feature when you're dealing with something where you into a situation where you can get multiple shots at stuff. So there's a lot of positives to this whole build, and I hope you guys realize it and stick with me. It's going to take some time to get back onto this. It may be even 2-3 months before we're getting into it, not because of, it has to do more with everybody's busy getting custom stuff done, as opposed to um me not being on it right away. So I'm patient, and I'm going to continue to be patient, just simply because I might as well be. There's plenty of time for this all to work out, to come to fruition. I am going to, in the meantime, also with it, I am going to test with some higher grades of brass to see if that is a feasible idea. But I'm more concerned about keeping the length of that neck. Because going back over it, because of the diameter of the bullet, of the bore, that of a .277, and adding such a weight range, you need a slightly longer neck in order to be able to hold your longer, heavier bullets. You can get away with a shorter neck out of a 30 cal, because if you go from a 150 to a 200, your difference in length is really not that significant. So it's really it's not really relevant as much as needing a longer neck. You can get away with a shorter neck, especially when you're talking about something like a 300 Win Mag or the 30-06, where your throats aren't that long. So there's a bunch of back and forth of what you can do. In just testing what I can do, in order to fit the 170 grain Berger, and the 170 grain Berger right now has the longest ogive in my setup, and because of that, I have to balance it out. And so I did. So I set my die, and I got it to where it fit inside the magazine. The magazine allows me to seat out the 3.55. And let me pull up the numbers here. Wrote them down. This allows me, I set it to where I am out to 3.5255. And with a 110 grain bullet, with a 110 grain bullet, which is really light, right? And it's barely in the neck, but it still is in there, and it's solid. It's not jiggling around. I'm at 3.468. So what it kind of allows me to really do is have this wide variety, and that's going from 3.468 is a 110 grain. 3.5255 is the 170 grain Berger. And it's just under, it's like a 3.49, 3.5 is the 175 grain Sierra Game Changer, the TGK. So I'm literally going from 110 grains to 175. Okay? Your standard 270 can't do that. And with a 1-7 twist, everything in that's going to be stabilized. So I was, we were joking around. I'm like, with an updated cartridge with a lot more capacity, and 110 grain at 27 caliber, there's a potential out of this barrel. I could be looking at 30, maybe even 3,500 feet per second with a 110 grain bullet. I'm like, that sounds like a lot of fun to me. So, I mean, heck, why not? And what's cool is it's a 110 grain AccuBond. So I could take that, and if I'm getting like 3,500 feet per second, which is stupid fast, I mean, just imagine what that would do to a pronghorn at 500 yards. Just a sheer laser, right? Up there with a, 257 Weatherby. So, yeah, there's a lot to be had here. Again, is it easy? Not necessarily. I mean, some people are better at it than others, and others are going to be, there's a learning curve. And there's a big difference between doing something on paper and then doing something where it's tangible in your hands. And so I'm still excited about this. Would have been nice to have it be, perfect off the bat. Yeah, but you know what? That's okay. How else are we supposed to learn if we don't try? I look at it, I don't look at this as so much of a failure as it is okay, I just figured out how it doesn't work. So I'm not going to take it as a loss. I take it as something I can learn from. There's nothing wrong with getting something wrong as long as you're willing to learn from it and to do it differently. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that's called insanity, right? So are you insane or are you just trying to learn? There's nothing wrong with getting something wrong as long as you're trying to learn, depending on how bad it is. But there's also learning from others. So I'm not starting from ground zero with this. And this time, it's like I'm going in with a whole lot more knowledge. So I appreciate all the support. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. I am going to be continuing this. This weekend, I'm going to take my friend's 243 and my 270, do a little shooting with it. I'm going to demonstrate what some people say that hydrostatic shock isn't really a thing. Well, I tend to disagree. I'm not saying it's the end-all, be-all and everything, but at the same time, I disagree. Mainly because I've never had a deer drop in its tracks with a bow. Okay? I can shoot a deer double long and it drops in its tracks. So, I have my thoughts on it, and I'm just going to do a little demonstration on what I consider why it's important to not only shot placement, but also cartridge and caliber selection when it comes to hunting various sizes. I'm going to do like a jug demonstration to kind of show how they react based upon how they get shot. So I hope you tune in for that, too. I will be doing that. But yeah, that's the plan. Again, I appreciate all the support. I can't thank you guys enough. We're up to 120 subs, and I'll hopefully try to get up to 200 here soon. But we're slowly getting there. For the guys who are watching, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps, but in either case, I'm not minimizing what you are doing. If you are viewing, please like it. Please subscribe. It really is helpful. It does help me. I'm trying to get this growing. Again, welcome to the journey of wildcatting. Nothing's a guarantee. But it is a fun process. We do this because we enjoy it. That's all I have for tonight. We'll talk to you again.